Hi everyone, it's Cass. Welcome back to my channel, What Cass Read. Today I am going to bring you my birthday book haul. It was my birthday this past January. When it's birthday month, I just seem to go a little extra crazy. So here we are. The first book that I want to talk about, this is Ninth House, written by Leigh Bardugo. This is actually a book that I received for Christmas from my sister. She was like, so how am I supposed to know which books off of your TBR you haven't read yet? And I just sent her a whole list of books, and this is a book that she decided to get for me. This is a book that I will be getting to for my Goodreads Choice Awards Reading Challenge. Obviously this was the winner for the fantasy category, but I am planning on reading all of the fantasy nominations for the 2019 Goodreads Choice Awards, and I want to see if Ninth House, written by Leigh Bardugo, was actually the best fantasy book that was released in 2019. Lots of people have already picked this up on BookTube, lots of mixed reviews that I see, but this follows a young woman named Alex who ends up being the sole survivor of this like really gruesome murder. She's in the hospital, wakes up, this person decides that she is going to be a great candidate for them to send her to Yale University. There's a catch to it. She has to investigate all of these secret societies. By joining a secret society? I don't really know. Obviously I haven't looked that deeply into it, but I will be reading this year, so it will be up to the Wheel of TBR when I actually get to this. Now this book is Of Blood and Bone, written by Nora Roberts. This is the Chronicles of the One, Book 2, and this was also a nominee in the Goodreads Choice Awards fantasy category. I received this from my brother for Christmas, so this is like back, you know, this is another Christmas haul book that I just wasn't able to film before I left for my vacation. My sister passed along my list to my brother, and then this is the one that he picked off the list. So thanks, guys. Okay, this next batch of books, I ordered all of these off of Book Depository. So this may come as a surprise to a number of people if you've come back to a number of videos of mine. It was a surprise to me that I decided to order them, but I decided to give the Witcher series a second chance. I can't believe the words are coming out of my mouth. But for those of you who don't know, I reviewed The Last Wish a couple of years ago, didn't particularly like it. The collection of short stories just didn't work well with me. So I have the second book on my shelf already. It's called Sword of Destiny, and I've just never picked it up. But then the Witcher Netflix series has been on, and I've been watching that with my husband. And I feel like the show has been giving me the context to these short stories that I have been missing. So I've ordered the rest of the books. The only one that's actually not here yet, if any of you have ordered off of Book Depository before, it can just take forever for the shipping to actually reach you because I ship internationally. So the one that's still on its way to me is the first of the Witcher novels, which is going to be Blood of Elves. All of these are written by Andrzej Sapkowski. I have this would be the second of the novels. So this is Time of Contempt, then Baptism of Fire, The Tower of the Swallow, The Lady of the Lake, and I think this is like the final one in the series, but I did order Season of Storms, which was the most recent release from Andrzej Sapkowski, set in the world of The Witcher, but I think this is like a prequel of Geralt and less to do with the rest of the series. For all the Witcher people out there, you can let me know if I'm correct in that. Okay, so the next author that I just went a little bit crazy with this book haul is actually Stephen King. I don't know what happened to me. I think I was watching some like true crime stuff and I just got really interested in reading some more crime novels. Oh, I was also reading Leviathan Wakes, which is like this crime noir but set in space. And it just made me really think back to the Bill Hodges trilogy written by Stephen King, because I did read Mr. Mercedes last year and really enjoyed that. So I wanted to pick up the rest of that series. And then I just kind of went on a Stephen King spiral. So the first thing that I actually did get was the hardcover of Mr. Mercedes. If you know anything about me and my bookshelf, I don't enjoy when series mismatch. And this cover in the paperback, it's not available in paperback for the rest of the trilogy. They have completely different covers, so that was really bothering me. So I went to the used bookstore because I knew that I had seen several copies of like this trilogy in the used bookstore before. So I knew if I swung by the used bookstore, I could probably find the Bill Hodges trilogy in the hardcover and have them all matched. So that's what I ended up doing. So we have Mr. Mercedes, book number 1 of the Bill Hodges trilogy. I've already read this and gave this 4 out of 5 stars. Then the sequel is called Finders Keepers, Haven't gotten to this one yet, but I really hope to soon. And the third book of the series really makes me excited because I was reading what all of the different books were about. So this is End of Watch, the third book in the trilogy, and this brings back like our antagonist from book number 1, who I thoroughly enjoyed no matter how creepy he was. So I'm really excited to see him in this book as well. So this is End of Watch. Considering I haven't read that many Stephen King, I decided to go down the path of like less supernatural. Like, of course there's gonna be supernatural elements in a lot of these, but I also really wanted to take a look at the stuff that was just like really messed up between humans. So the one that I think that like totally fits that is gonna be Gerald's Game, written by Stephen King. So this is like a woman has to put up with her husband's kinky sex games. And one day he like goes a little too far. It, I think, turns into some type of like her life is in danger. But what really intrigued me was like the idea of the person that you're supposed to trust the most, which is gonna be like a romantic partner, end up being not someone that you can trust entirely. I think this one's gonna be super messed up, so I'm actually oddly really excited about that. What I don't really want to have happen, but I'm not entirely sure because I think this might be one of his older novels, is I don't want like kink to be all people who engage in kink sex play are gonna be this rotten and evil, but who knows? We'll see. If anyone's read this one, let me know what you thought. Dolores Claiborne, written by Stephen King, another one of his shorter novels. There was some type of gruesome murder that happened in a small town in Maine, as most of his stories take place. And the only person who is like a witness or the main suspect is this older woman named Dolores Claiborne. And so things don't look like they're gonna go her way. And she decides to go off on like every secret she's ever kept. So this one sounded pretty intriguing, so I wanted to pick this one up. Another one that just like super intrigued me about how messed up humans can be toward one another is Misery, written by Stephen King. I don't know why I'm so excited talking about these like super messed up stories and plot lines, but anyways, this one is like, there's a famous author and he encounters a super fan who's like supposed to be his biggest fan, and I think she drugs him and he wakes up in this cabin in the middle of nowhere, and yeah, I think she tortures him a little bit. I don't know. Again, if you've read Misery, let me know what you think. Everybody said the movie with Kathy Bates in it has nothing on the original source material, but we'll see. I don't know, it's kind of bleak and dreary out today. It seems like a really perfect day for some stuff like this. Okay, and then the very last Stephen King book that I ended up hauling is Duma Key, written by Stephen King. This, I actually, aside from the Mr. Hodges trilogy, I think I just kind of wanted to supply myself with some more standalone options on my shelf. It's about this man from Minnesota. Hello, I'm from Minnesota. And he worked in the construction industry and suffered a pretty big accident, I think. And then so he relocated to Florida in Duma Key. And I don't know if this is going to be more supernatural. I actually, Jess from Jess Nevertheless has talked about Duma Key before as being like an underrated Stephen King. I think that was her channel that mentioned this. So I'm pretty excited about that, but it also has just like a different setting than a lot of his books that take place up north. This one would be a Florida book. Something a little bit more in my wheelhouse. I've already showed this book on my channel a couple of times, but this is The Dragon Republic, written by R.F. Kuang. So I did get this for myself for my birthday. So I picked up the Barnes & Noble signed copy of it as a little birthday treat to myself. So this is the second book in Rebecca Kuang's trilogy. I do plan on reading this one, not only because I really enjoyed The Poppy War, which was the first book, the other reasons being that I'm always on the hunt for like really good Asian representation in fantasy, but this is also a book that's a part of my Goodreads Choice Awards fantasy reading challenge for this year. So this one will definitely get read this year. Another book that I've already talked about a little bit on my channel, I talked about this one in my 5-star TBR predictions video. This is Children of Time, written by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is a sci-fi book that I decided to give a shot. I said in that video that I don't actually know that much about this book, but whenever people talk about this, number one, they get super hyped over it, but number two, they always talk about something to do with spiders, and I just need to know what what it's about. I need to know why the spiders got everyone so excited. Yeah, so this will be part of some of the sci-fi books that I would like to pick up this year as well. This one is actually, I picked up as a recommendation from some viewers. So this is Therithmatist, written by Brandon Sanderson. I believe this is one of Brandon Sanderson's young adult novels, but it was actually, I think, in my Elantris review where I was talking about me really enjoying that book. Someone recommended Therithmatist to me because they said it was another one of Brandon Sanderson's earlier works, super underrated on BookTube, to give it a shot. And this has like all the workings of like a magical academy, and I'm actually interested to see Brandon Sanderson's take on a magical academy. In all of the books that I've read of his so far, I haven't actually encountered anything like that. We have Skyward as like a sampling of Brandon Sanderson dealing with students in a school setting, but that's like flight school, less to do with magic, and I want to see his take on a magic academy. All right, the final book that I have to mention in my birthday book haul is American Gods, written by Neil Gaiman. I know I've said that I just don't know if Neil Gaiman is the author for me, yet somehow I found myself just really wanting to pick this up. He writes, all the stuff that I've encountered off of him, he like writes adult fairy tales for adults. But this one has a little bit more of an interesting take on it, as I'm sure many of you know. But instead of it being based on lore in, you know, like he did with Norse mythology, like he did with some of the Fae lore in like Ireland and stuff, this one obviously takes place in America. And America's history is not that long in comparison to all of these folklore traditions over in Europe. So, I don't know, I know that's not the most ringing endorsement, but if anything, this is the book haul where I'm giving authors a second shot, because you saw me haul the whole Witcher series written by Andrzej Sapkowski. It is a good thing that my birthday is in January, because I feel like I can always set off the year with like a really excellent book haul, and then I'm set for a really long time until some of my like anticipated releases come out. So yeah, we'll see when I can get to some of these books. A lot more Stephen King than I was anticipating. Who knew? But yeah, let me know what you think of the book haul in the comment section down below. If you've read any of these, let me know your thoughts. I know several of them are part of my Goodreads Choice Awards reading challenge, so I do plan on getting to them this year. But as far as the other ones, I'm not really sure of like a timeline on when I'm gonna get to them. If you've watched my Wheel of TBR video, you'll know that 2020 is going to be the year of the Wheel of TBR, so it's kind of up to the wheel at this point on when I'm going to get to the rest of them. Anyways, follow me on my social media. I'm on Instagram and Twitter. It's at whatcassread, the same as this channel, so it should be super easy for you to find. If you're new here, I'd love for you to click that subscribe button and stick around for a while. And you know how these videos end. I'll talk to you later. Bye.